at the invitation of Mr. Abdul Wahid Khan, Assistant Director General for Communication and Information of UNESCO, Mr. Edward P. H. Wu, the Director of the AIOU Center for Research on Linguistic Tonal Studies, attended an international forum on Peace for Power Network in January 2007. This forum was sponsored by UNESCO in association with the Indonesian government. At the forum, Mr. Wu made a presentation about the theory of the hexatave, which he discovered. This theory suggests that it is possible to codify the tones of all the languages and dialects that we hear. In other words, it is possible to produce one pronunciation dictionary to cover all the languages and dialects spoken around the world. The purpose of this video is to explain how the tones of all different languages can be covered and explained in the hexatave system.
The theory of the hexatave, a method to simplify the process for foreigners to learn the tones of a new language. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to bring to your notice that I have developed a theory which I call it the theory of the hexatave. Based on this theory, it is possible to simplify the process for anyone to learn a new language, especially those referred to as tonal languages. The hexatave theory comes about as I observe that the tones of the languages of the world are confined to a band within which there are 6 tones. What is the theory of the hexatave? I say that while there is a term called an octave in music, there is something comparable in speech. I call it the hexatave. The octave is a scale of musical notes. There are 8 notes, and they are demonstrated by do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. In speech, based on empirical experience, I say that human beings speak in 6 tones. When we learn to sing, we are accustomed to learning the notes in the octave by arranging them from low to high, like do, re, mi, fa, sol, etc., or from high to low. Such an arrangement has the benefit of making it relatively easy for us to remember them. Based on the same logic, it is easier for us to learn the tones of speech if we arrange these tones from high to low, or from low to high. You must all be wondering what are the 6 tones in the hexatave, and how do they sound like. To demonstrate these tones, I would like to use different examples for different students, depending on their mother tongue. I do this because I see the need that the illustration I give to my students will stick to their memory. Dealing with students who speak English, to help them understand the tones of the hexatave, I have deliberately chosen words or sounds familiar to the English ear. The 6 English words or sounds I have chosen to help them remember the 6 tones of the hexatave are si, si, mi, fa, ho, ti. This may sound strange on the first time you come to hear of it, but after hearing my explanations, you will know why you have no problem retaining them in your memory. The first tone in the hexatave can be demonstrated by a sound identical to the English word sea, as we say, the deep blue sea. This tone is represented by the phonetic symbol SI1. The second tone in the hexatave can be illustrated by the sound identical to the English word SEEC. When this word is uttered in the exclamation, "You see? Here he comes." This tone is represented by the phonetic symbol SI2. Make sure you appreciate the difference. Practice saying si, si. The third tone, mi, is found when we sing do, re, mi. This tone is represented by the phonetic symbol MI3. Again, make sure you appreciate the difference between the 3 tones. and practice saying si si mi. If you succeed in seeing the difference, you have already mastered 3 of the 6 tones. The 4th tone, fa, is found when we sing Far, a long, long way to run, taken from a song in the musical The Sound of Music. This tone is represented by the phonetic symbol FA4. The 5th tone, ho, is found as we pronounce the English word hotel. This tone is represented by the phonetic symbol HO5. And finally, the 6th tone, T, is found in the English word city. This tone is represented by the phonetic symbol TI6. Thus, the 6 tones to remember are si, si, mi, fa, ho, ti. We could identify the tones in a sequence as si, 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 or fa, 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 or bo, 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 or ho, 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 etc., etc. For the moment, what you need to appreciate is the fact that after we have repeated singing out this jingle a few times, we have created a tonal pattern in our mind, something like bum 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 bum. I'd like to briefly identify the key features of the hexatave theory. First, it is all-encompassing. The theory claims that the tones used in the speech of human beings, irrespective of the language or dialect used, would not go beyond the 6 tones of the hexatave. In other words, the tones of all words spoken in any language or dialect are covered. The second feature is that the theory has a universal application. But although it has a universal application, among the different languages and dialects spoken around the world, one language or dialect may use only some of the 6 tones, another one may use some others, while a third one may use all 6. Later on, I will give you a few examples on a case-by-case basis to show how each tone used in different languages is identical to a specific tone in the hexatave. The third feature of the theory is the continuality of the hexatave. One octave follows another, so is the hexatave. Look at the illustration shown on the screen. The 6 tones of the hexatave are represented as si, si, mi, fa, ho, ti. These 6 tones constitute what is referred to in the diagram as hexatave 1. When I say ba ba, I have used the lowest and the highest tone in hexatave 1. When I say ba ba ba, I have actually said ba ba 2 times. I have said it in 2 different hexataves. Ba is the highest tone in the higher hexatave. I bring up this point because some languages use this extra high tone to supplement the 6 tones of the hexatave. I'll come back to illustrate this later. Finally, the 4th feature. 2 tones in the hexatave are sometimes combined together to form what appears to be a new tone. We note the effect of the combination. We do not treat the end product, i.e. the combined tone, as a new tone. Now that we know how the 6 tones in the hexatave sound like, you may ask, what is the point of knowing it? In one sentence, it could make it easier for us to learn to speak a new language. To explain how this is possible, I would ask you, first of all, learn how to identify the 6 tones of the hexatave. Next, you should learn to compare these tones with the tones of the words in the new language you want to learn. Remember, the order of the tones in the hexatave have been arranged from high to low, with 1 being the highest and 6 being the lowest. As I have said, bum 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 is a specimen of the 6 tones. This order is a deliberate feature added to facilitate learning. I expect English students to recite the 6 tones of the hexatave by singing it out. In the first place, si, si, mi, fa, ho, ti. After that, they should convert si, si, mi, etc. into some other tonal patterns, as I have demonstrated. A student must accurately master this tonal pattern. This is the one important hurdle every student must overcome. If a student could master this tonal pattern, he should be able to apply it to any word in any language, and he could then pronounce that word in the correct tone. This is the basic value of the hexatave. What is exciting about the hexatave theory is that the tones of all the different languages and dialects around the world are covered by the 6 tones. What it means is that it is perfectly possible to create a single phonetic system to cover all the different dialects of the world. I would now proceed to demonstrate the application of a few languages and dialects. First, English. Earlier on, I mentioned that some languages might use only some of the 6 tones. English is an example. English uses tones 1, 5, and 6. Tone number 2 is only sparingly used. Look at the illustration on the screen. I have used a sentence incorporating the 3 words Poland, potential, and simple. There is potential in Poland, but it's not so simple. 3 tones were involved. Po in Poland is in tone number 1. Po in potential is in tone number 5. Po in simple is in tone number 6. Take any English word that you can think of. We see that it will not be said in any tone other than tone 1, 5, and 6. Take the word coffee. It is said in tone 1, 6. Take another word, hotel. It is said in 5, 1. Take a word with multisyllables. Say Mediterranean. It is said in tones 5, 5, 5, 1, 6, 6. Knowledge of the hexatave could help us analyze the special peculiarity in the way non-native speakers pronounce words of a new language. When we hear some Asian speakers speak English, we notice that they often speak with some non-English accent. For example, people from Malaysia would say, "I'll have coffee," instead of coffee. We can easily explain the special accent in the way they speak. Coffee is 1-6. Coffee is 3-1. Next, Bahasa Malay. The Indonesian language is quite similar. The Malay language is accustomed to using the 3rd tone. 1, 2, 3 is said as satu, dua, tiga. Indeed, even if you count from 1 to 10, without exception, each word starts with the 3rd tone. The people there are so used to the 3rd tone that when they speak in English, in many instances, they could not break their habit of using the 3rd tone. What about Vietnamese? I will now demonstrate Vietnamese by showing how the 6 tones are said. Ba, 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 ba. I shall now demonstrate Thai.ผมมาจากฮ่องกง ผมไม่รู้จักภาษาไทย. What about Mandarin? Anyone learning Mandarin is taught that there are 4 tones. They are ma, 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 ma. The hexatave symbols of the 4 tones of Mandarin are shown in the diagram. So, Mandarin tone number 1, ma, is an extra high tone in the hexatave. Mandarin tone number 2, ma, is tone 2 of the hexatave. Mandarin tone number 3, ma, is a combination of tones 6 and 4 of the hexatave, while Mandarin tone number 4, ma, is tone 1 of the hexatave. We could demonstrate Shanghainese and other dialects based on the same principle. Look at the diagram. Allah Fadong Shang He Heo. So, as far as the tones are concerned, one system will cover all the languages. In our analysis of different dialects, apart from looking at the tones, there are other considerations. But these other considerations do not present much of a problem. I hope I have explained the theory of the hexatave and how it is possible to make use of it to simplify the process for us to learn a new language. I have also explained why there is now a breakthrough in the technology to produce a global pronunciation dictionary. This appears to me to be an important step towards fostering cordial relationship among different peoples. For this reason, I believe that UNESCO will be pleased to give its moral support to this project. To be involved in such a meaningful project, UNESCO could reinforce the image that the United Nations would not only strive towards the promotion of peace and harmony, it would also respect the preservation of culture, especially the less-known culture which needs protection. I invite members of the audience to test the efficiency of the hexatave theory. If you feel that there are areas which require further explanation, please feel free to communicate with us